My wife abused my son for 8 years while I worked. I installed hidden cameras and discovered the truth. Then I confronted her with the evidence, and the judge left them speechless. I'm 38 years old, work as a project manager at a construction company, and for 8 years I was married to a woman who basically tortured my son without me fully realizing it until it was too late, until I decided to do something about it. I guess I should start from the beginning, when I met Christine. My first wife, Owen's mom, died in a car accident when my son was barely 2 years old, and honestly, I spent the next 2 years just trying to survive. You know, working and being a single dad at the same time, which isn't easy at all. I met Christine at work. She was an administrative coordinator, had a 3-year-old daughter named Ella. And at first, everything seemed perfect because I thought Owen needed a mother figure and that we could form a united family, like those families you see in movies where everyone gets along and they're happy. How naive I was, honestly. We got married when Owen was 4 and Ella was 5, and we moved into a 3-bedroom house that I bought because I wanted us to start fresh, without memories of my first wife in every corner. Although I kept some of her things for Owen, especially a gray hoodie she always wore and that still smelled like her perfume, or at least it smelled back then. The first few months were okay, I guess, or maybe they weren't, and I just didn't want to see it because I was so desperate to give Owen a complete family that I ignored the signs. Christine was never affectionate with Owen. Never. But I told myself it was because she was adjusting, that she needed time, that eventually she would love him like her own son. But years went by, and that never happened. And when I say she was never affectionate, I mean she never hugged him, never asked him how his day was, never showed interest in his drawings or his school projects. Nothing. With Ella, it was completely different, obviously. Ella was her little princess, her everything, and she spoiled her horribly, like she'd buy her whatever she wanted, let her do whatever she wanted, never punished her for anything. And Ella grew up being a spoiled and selfish kid because that's how she was raised, and over time she started treating Owen like he was less than her, like he didn't deserve to be in the same house. I worked a lot, came home late almost every day, because my job is very demanding, and I was the one paying for everything. The house, the cars, food, the kids' private schools. Everything came out of my salary, while Christine worked part-time and spent her money on herself and Ella. Looking back now, I realize I should have seen it coming. All the signs were there. But when you're living in the middle of the situation, it's hard to see the whole picture. You know what I mean? Owen was always a quiet and artistic kid. He loved to draw and paint, and he was very sensitive, very loving, the type of kid who hugs you for no reason and tells you he loves you. But over the years, I saw him become quieter, more withdrawn, and I thought it was part of growing up, that kids change and become more independent. It never occurred to me that it could be because he was being mistreated in his own home while I wasn't there. Christine always had excuses for everything. If I asked her why Owen hadn't eaten dinner, she'd tell me he didn't want to eat. If I asked her why Owen was alone in his room, she'd tell me he preferred to be alone. If I asked her why they hadn't gone to the park together, she'd tell me Owen didn't want to go. And I believed her, because she was my wife, and you're supposed to trust your wife. She's supposed to want what's best for your son, too. The thing that really opened my eyes happened like 6 months ago, at Ella's birthday. Ella was turning 11, and Christine organized a huge party at the house, invited a bunch of kids from school, hired catering service, had decorations everywhere, basically spent like $2,000 on that party. At one point, Christine wanted to take a family photo, and when we were all standing there ready for the photo, she literally told Owen to get out of the frame. She said, "Owen, get out of there. This is just for Ella's family." And Owen, my poor son, just stood there not knowing what to do, and I exploded completely. I yelled at Christine in front of all the guests, told her what the hell was wrong with her, that Owen was part of the family. How dare she exclude him like that? She started crying and playing the victim, saying that I always attacked her, that she just wanted a nice photo with Ella, and that I was overreacting. And some of the guests were looking at me like I was the bad guy in the story. After that party, things in the house were tense for weeks. Christine barely spoke to me, and Ella started acting worse toward Owen when I was around, like she didn't even bother hiding it anymore. She'd take his things, tell him he was weird because he liked drawing instead of playing video games, made fun of him because he was shorter than her. And Owen didn't defend himself, never defended himself. He'd just go to his room and stay there. One day I came home early from work, like at 4 in the afternoon instead of 8, and I found Owen in his room crying. And when I asked him what was wrong, he said nothing, that he was fine. But I knew he wasn't fine. I insisted and insisted until he finally told me that Ella had torn up one of his drawings, one he had worked on for weeks for a school project, and that when he complained to Christine, she told him to stop crying, that it was just a drawing and he could make another one. That's when I decided I needed to know what was really happening when I wasn't there. I searched online and found some small security cameras that I could put in the house without anyone noticing, and I installed them in the living room, in the kitchen, in the hallway, basically everywhere except the bathrooms and bedrooms, because I'm not a pervert. I just wanted to see how they treated my son. I didn't tell Christine anything, didn't tell anyone, just put up the cameras and waited. The cameras recorded all the time and I could watch them from my phone at work, and what I saw broke my heart. Literally made me feel like the worst father in the world for letting this happen for so long. I saw Ella bullying Owen constantly, calling him a loser, pushing him, taking his food, hiding his school supplies so he'd get in trouble at school. I saw Christine ignoring all of this, acting like nothing was happening when she could clearly see what Ella was doing. I saw Christine serving Ella food on a big plate, with the best portions, and giving Owen the leftovers on a small plate. I saw Christine taking Ella to the movies, shopping, for ice cream, while Owen stayed home alone without anyone asking if he wanted to go. But what really made me take action, what made me say enough, was when I saw Ella spill grape juice on the carpet on purpose, and then use my first wife's hoodie, the hoodie Owen kept as his most prized possession, to clean up the mess. And Christine was there, saw everything, and instead of scolding Ella or cleaning it herself, she told Owen it was his fault for leaving the hoodie in the living room and that he should clean up the mess. I saved all the videos, like 2 weeks of continuous recordings, and edited them to make a compilation of the worst parts, which sadly were many. That night when I got home, Christine and Ella were in the living room watching TV like nothing, and Owen was in his room as always. I asked Owen to come down and told everyone we needed to talk. I put the videos on the TV and played them, and watching Christine's face change from confusion to shock to fear was almost satisfying, almost. She tried to explain it, tried to say I was misinterpreting things, that the cameras didn't show the full context, that Owen was difficult to deal with and she was doing her best. I told her to shut up and keep watching, and with each video that played, she got paler. And Ella started crying, saying she was sorry, that she didn't want to get in trouble, that she was just playing. I told them I wanted them out of my house, right then, that night. Christine started screaming that I couldn't kick them out like that she had rights, that she had been my wife for 8 years and that legally I had to give her time. I told her I didn't care, that she could go stay with her sister, who lived like 20 minutes away, and that tomorrow I was going to get a divorce lawyer. She tried to manipulate me, saying that if I did this I was going to destroy Ella, that the girl wasn't to blame for anything, that she was just imitating what she saw. I told her that Ella was 11 years old, not 3, that she knew perfectly well what she was doing and that I didn't give a damn what happened to either of them, that my priority was Owen and only Owen. Owen was sitting next to me on the couch, quiet, processing everything, and when I looked at him, he had tears running down his face, but also something like relief, like finally someone was defending him. I kicked them out that same night. Christine packed some things for her and Ella, and they left. Her screaming that I was going to regret it, that she was going to take everything I had, that she was going to make sure I never saw a cent of my money again. Honestly, I didn't care. In that moment, I just wanted them out of my house and to leave Owen alone. The next few days were weird. The house felt empty but also calmer, more peaceful. Owen started coming out of his room more, started talking more, even smiled occasionally. I told him I was sorry, that I was sorry for not realizing what was happening, that I was sorry for leaving him alone with them for so long. He hugged me and told me it wasn't my fault, that he knew I worked a lot to support us and that I couldn't be home all the time. That kid, my son, even after everything that happened, was still kind and understanding, and that made me want to love and protect him even more. I hired the best divorce lawyer I could find. Like the guy cost like $400 an hour, but he was worth every cent. I showed him all the videos, told him the whole situation, and he basically told me we had a very strong case, that any judge who saw those videos was going to be on my side. Christine also hired a lawyer, obviously, and started asking for ridiculous things, like half of everything, half the value of the house, alimony, child support for Ella, even though Ella wasn't my biological daughter. Her argument was that she had been a housewife during our marriage, which was a lie because she worked part-time, and that she deserved to be compensated for the years she dedicated to our family. My lawyer basically laughed when he saw her demands and said there was no way she was getting even half of what she was asking for. The divorce process took like 4 months, which felt eternal. During that time, Christine was living with her sister and saw Ella on weekends when her sister would keep her. Basically, her sister was taking care of Ella more than she was. Christine tried to call me several times, send me messages saying we could work things out, that she would change, that she was going to treat Owen better, that she just needed another chance. I blocked her everywhere, didn't want to hear from her, didn't want to hear her excuses. She also tried to contact Owen through the school, sent him letters saying she loved him and missed living with him, which was another lie. But the school principal called me to tell me what was happening, and I talked to them so they wouldn't allow her any contact with Owen without my permission. Finally, the day of the court hearing arrived, and my lawyer brought a laptop with all the edited videos. The judge was an older man, like 60-something years old, with the face of someone who had seen it all in his career, and when he started watching the videos, his expression changed from neutral to disgusted to completely outraged. He saw the video of Ella using the hoodie to clean up the juice, saw the video of Christine ignoring Owen while pampering Ella, saw the video of Ella tearing up Owen's drawings, saw everything. Christine's lawyer tried to argue that the videos were out of context, that I had recorded without consent, that they didn't show the whole story, but the judge didn't pay attention to him. He asked Christine directly if she denied that the things in the videos had happened, and she couldn't say no. She just started crying and saying she had made mistakes but deserved a second chance. The judge issued his ruling right there, without needing more hearings or anything. He gave me the complete house, without needing to buy out Christine's part, gave me full custody of Owen with no possibility of Christine having contact with him, and gave Christine a minimal amount of money from the division of assets, like $30,000, which was basically what she had contributed during the marriage according to bank records. No alimony, no child support for Ella, nothing. The judge specifically said in his ruling that any woman who treats her husband's son the way she treated Owen doesn't deserve to benefit financially from the marriage, and that he hoped she would reflect on her actions and become a better person, although he doubted that would happen. Christine left the courtroom screaming that it was unfair, that the system was against her, that I had manipulated everything, but nobody paid attention to her. The last few months have been about adjustment, I guess. Owen is going to therapy to process everything he went through, and the therapist says he's progressing well, but it's going to take time. That 8 years of emotional abuse don't disappear in a few months. Owen is 11 now, almost 12, and he's starting to be more like he was before, more open, happier, more himself. He still loves to draw, and now he's also taking painting classes on Saturdays, and he's really good. Like his teachers say, he has a lot of talent. The house feels different now, lighter, and although sometimes it's hard being a single dad again, at least I know my son is safe and that nobody is hurting him when I'm not there. Christine still lives with her sister, from what I heard through mutual acquaintances, and apparently she's having problems because her sister is tired of supporting her and Ella. She tried to contact me like a month ago, sent me a message from a new number saying she needed to talk to me, that things were difficult and that maybe we could consider trying again. I blocked her again without responding. I have nothing to say to her. I don't want to know anything about her or Ella ever again. Owen asked me last week if Christine and Ella were going to come back someday, and I told him the truth, that no, they were never coming back, and he didn't have to worry about that. He thought about it for a moment and then said, "It's okay, Dad. I'm better off this way anyway, just you and me." And he's right, we're better off this way, just the two of us rebuilding what they tried to destroy.